Hi everybody, my name is Erin Davies. I am your athletic director here at South Portland High School, and I want to welcome all of you to the athlete and parent meeting as we will go over the code of conduct for South Portland High School athletics. Somebody recently asked me, what is a Red Riot? Well, simply put, a South Portland High School Red Riot is a champion. Here at South Portland High School, we aim to help all of our student athletes become champions on the field, on the court, in the rink, and especially in the classroom. Students who participate in our athletic program build character and become champion citizens, and that is something we are most proud of. We are here tonight because your son or daughter has indicated a desire to participate in interscholastic athletics at South Portland, and you have expressed your willingness to permit him or her to compete. For tonight's meeting, we hope to introduce student activity participants, their parents, coaches, and athletic trainers to each other in a relaxed, cooperative atmosphere, to express behavior expectations of parents, students, and coaches through the Code of Conduct, provide information about activities, insurance, physicals, student handbook, and program philosophy, to promote the importance of ongoing and honest communication, to create awareness about tobacco, alcohol, and other drug uses, ethics and sportsmanship and how they relate to sports and other activities, and to develop a bond of mutual respect, cooperation, and shared responsibility between student activity participants, their parents, and the school. The philosophy of South Portland Public Schools' interscholastic athletic program is to foster excellence through educational and competitive experiences in an atmosphere of sportsmanship. The health and well-being of our student athletes is our primary consideration and is always more important than the outcome of an athletic contest. We believe winning and losing are secondary to conducting oneself with dignity and respectability. We expect that our student athletes put academics above all else and will positively represent themselves, the school, and the community at all times. The South Portland School Department recognizes the value of education-based interscholastic athletics to help prepare our students for post-secondary pursuits. Our mission is to have students who participate in our athletic program develop feelings of self-worth, learn appropriate behavior when working with others, learning to cooperate in a competitive context, and to develop good health habits. The Code of Conduct and the Student Athlete Parent Handbook are two separate documents, both critical for understanding roles in the South Portland athletic program. The handbook contains all the essential policies and rules for participation in athletics, as well as the necessary forms, including the player contract that must be complete in order to be eligible for participation. The handbook is a comprehensive document that includes, but is not limited to, athletic and academic eligibility information, attendance policies for schools and their relationship with athletic participation, attendance policies for practices and games, required documents such as the player contract and insurance forms, program structure, which describes how teams are selected, the main principals association rules and policies, and lettering and awards procedures. Good sportsmanship is encouraged and expected from our athletes, coaches, parents, and fans at all times during athletic events. The Code of Conduct was created to help guide all athletic event participants and attendees to behave in an ethical way to ensure a positive experience for all. The guide's purpose is to establish guidelines for acceptable behaviors for student athletes, parents, and coaches, to ensure the safety and well-being of student athletes, to promote a positive, competitive environment at all athletic venues. Tonight's meeting will provide an opportunity to review the Code of Conduct for athletes, coaches, and parents. It is vital that you also read the Code of Conduct document along with the Student Athlete and Parent Handbook. Athletes will be required to sign a contract acknowledging their understanding of all necessary documents before participation may begin. South Portland High School's athletic program is an extension of the school's educational mission. We believe that through competition, students can learn valuable lifelong skills such as cooperation, teamwork, leadership, feelings of self-worth, and pride. We expect that students, parents, and coaches understand that academics is the number one priority for our students and expect our athletes also to be leaders in the classroom. As student athletes in the South Portland High School athletic program, students are not only representing themselves, but are also representing the school and the community. Our athletes are expected to show respect for themselves, teammates, opponents, and officials at all times, both on and off the field. This includes online behavior such as social media. Being an ethical student athlete means showing respect for the game. Abiding by all the rules and not attempting to bend the rules is an expectation for our athletes. The rules that govern individual sports have been created to provide safety for student athletes, as well as provide competitive equity for all participants. Therefore, students must obey these rules and demonstrate a healthy respect for the game itself. Good sportsmanship is when people who are playing or watching a sport treat each other with respect. South Portland High School athletes are expected to display positive sportsmanship at all times. It is an expectation that our student athletes exhibit positive behavior off and on the field. It is also important that our student athletes take responsibility for their actions and reflect on their behavior. We understand that teenagers can and will make mistakes from time to time, but blaming others for their actions is unacceptable. We support our student athletes and will help guide them to make good decisions. High school students have many pressures on them to participate in unhealthy choices. Participation in high school athletics not only keeps kids healthy, but it also teaches responsibility and discipline. The student handbook addresses consequences for students who cheat, bend the rules, or engage in illegal activities. It is important that all players and parents read through the handbook and understand its content before participation begins. While we will not go over every detail of the Code of Conduct tonight, I do feel it is important to emphasize the topic of e-cigarettes, vaping, and juuling because of the increased use among teens. We are deeply concerned about the use of these products by teenagers and hope that participation in athletics at South Portland High School will deter students from engaging in this dangerous behavior. Student athletes are prohibited from using and being in possession of any form of a vape device, including Juul, e-cigarette, and vape pens. The first offense will result in a suspension from a game or practice, whichever comes first. He or she must participate in a restorative justice conversation with the coach, teammates, and athletic director before returning to play. The second offense will result in a 1-week suspension, and the student must then meet with the school's Day 1 drug and alcohol abuse counselor before returning to play. The third offense, administrators will meet and review the student's case and make a decision as to whether the student-athlete will return to the team or not. It is important athletes know that just being in possession of the juuling device or vape pen will result in the same procedures. These procedures apply only during the season. The primary role of parents in athletics is to support the code of conduct for students. Parents should be positive and work with their children to support the mission and philosophy of the athletics program. Parents should always encourage their kids to do their best, but refrain from coaching their students from the sideline. Parents should parent and let the coaches do the coaching. Coaches will not discuss playing time with parents because it is impossible to do so without discussing the other players. Parents, please do not approach the coaches to debate playing time. Later in this presentation, we will discuss the communication protocol should an issue arise. Some of the ways that parents can support their child are: join the booster club and regularly attend meetings, volunteer in the concession stand, host team dinners, and cheer for your team and your child. When parents enjoy watching their child perform and cheer for all students, it is a better experience for everyone. By supporting the coaches and officials, by treating them with respect and not questioning the calls, parents serve as a positive role models for their children. The role of a coach is to educate students through participation in competition. South Portland High School's athletic program is designed to enhance academic achievement and must never interfere with academic pursuits. Each student should be treated with respect, and his or her health and safety should be considered in decisions by the coaches at all times. At South Portland High School, coaches must be aware that he or she has an influence, for either good or bad, on the education of our student athletes. Coaches must value character over winning at all times and act as a positive role model for our students. Coaches must uphold the honor and dignity of the profession. In all personal contact with students, officials, athletic directors, school administrators, the State High School Athletic Association, the media, and the public, the coach must attempt to set an example of the highest ethical and moral conduct. Displaying a positive attitude and demonstrating good sportsmanship at all times is an expectation that we have for all of our coaches. It promotes a healthy and safe atmosphere for our students. Coaches at South Portland High School must practice open communication with athletes and parents. That is not to say that coaches will discuss anything with parents at any time. We have a communication protocol that we expect athletes, parents, and coaches to follow. When it comes to communication between a coach and a player, open communication is critical for fostering a cooperative relationship. Because our student athletes are high school age, we encourage them to advocate for themselves as a first step to developing open communication with the coach. The following is the communication protocol that we ask players and parents to follow. First, the student athlete would go to the coach directly. A second step would be the student athlete goes to the athletic director. And thirdly, the student athlete and the parents go to meet with the athletic director and the coach. We are confident that by following these communication protocols, any issue that arises in South Portland High School athletics can and will be resolved. For any questions about tonight's meeting or about our program in general, please visit our athletics website or contact me by email or phone at the contact information here. You can also follow me on Twitter for regular updates about the South Portland High School athletics program. We thank you for taking the time to meet with us tonight and hope that you found this session informative. Our goal is for you to leave here tonight understanding your role in the Code of Conduct and the expectations of everyone involved in the South Portland High School athletics program.